Hello folks, and welcome to another episode of Athens Treasures Live. I'm Stephen Sherlin, and I'll be your host today as we find ourselves here in Fort Loudon in Monroe County, Tennessee. As you recall, in our Nakatula Legend episode, we talked about Fort Loudon, and today we're going to give you just a little bit of interesting facts about this wonderful place. This is a great park to come and visit, and I hope you and your family will come. And there's picnic areas here and walking areas to come and visit, and also a wonderful museum up here. In 1756 and 57, the British government decided that they were going to build a fort in the Cherokee lands here in what is now known as Tennessee. It wasn't Tennessee at that time, but they made a treaty with the Cherokees to build this fort. They named the fort Fort Loudon after General John Campbell, the 4th Earl of Loudon, a Scottish nobleman, and the military commander of the North American British forces during that time in 1756. So in 1756 they began building this fort. It wasn't until 1757 that they completed it. And then it became a place where the Cherokees found refuge from their Cree adversaries and other Indian adversaries that were always making war against them, and they against them also. And the white man was beginning to encroach upon their areas, and they were hoping that the British would keep these settlers from moving into their hunting grounds and the places where they made their villages. So this fort was established. We'll have more interesting facts about the fort as we go along, so come with me now as we explore a little bit more about this wonderful treasure that is just about 20 minutes from Athens, an easy drive any day of the week. Well folks, here we are as we make our way toward the fort, and you'll see this walkway. It's beautiful down through here, a lot of places to sit and rest as you make your way down. And the lake is just right over here, and right over here on this side too. It's a beautiful walk, and we're going to continue making our way on down toward the fort, so come along. Well folks, I'm behind the camera, and we're walking down the trail here at Fort Loudon toward the fort. Just wanted to give you a little view of how beautiful it is here. If you've never been here, you should come and enjoy this beautiful area here, this beautiful park here in Tennessee. Just about 15 miles actually from Athens, not far at all. Another treasure, part of the treasure actually of the Nakatula that we're talking about today. Well, here we are at the beginning of the fort. Here's a little monument here. I'll take a minute to read it. If you hear all those kids chattering back there, we happen to be here today. Well, there are 2 busloads of students from Oneida here visiting the park of Fort Loudon. So now we'll make our way on into the fort and see what it's like. Actually, before we enter the fort, across the way here is the old blockhouse. I guess you can see it there in the distance. Here is a little plaque in regard to it. Beautiful out here, isn't it? And then here we are at the entrance to the fort. See the great palisades sticking up, keep anybody from trying to crawl over. I guess they could actually get between them easy enough. I think maybe back in the day they might have been a little tighter than that. Well, we'll go on inside here and take a peek. Well, here we are at the Sally Port. The Sally Port is a small and protected doorway in the wall of this fortification. Even though it's a lot smaller than a standard gate, it allowed the troops to sally or move out of the fort to harass isolated and vulnerable attackers before retreating back into the fort without compromising the defensive strength of the fortification. And so we'll make our way in and take our first peek of the fort here at Fort Loudon. Wow, beautiful scenery, nice fort. This is where the soldiers and the people of Fort Loudon were held up during the siege of Fort Loudon in 1760. And then following that, the massacre. 6 months later, after they had surrendered, about 15 miles away, they made camp at Cane Creek near Tellico. And then the Cherokee advanced upon them, breaking their word, and massacred about 20 to 30 of them, took the rest prisoners. And here we have the soldiers' barracks inside the fort. And here's a view of the Little Tennessee, where Fort Loudon is situated. It's beautiful, isn't it? Protected from the water here by the waters. They could defend this quite well. You see the fort is here, built on this knoll. Those hedges around would have been full in that day. They're locust hedges. They would have helped keep advancing Cherokee from the water side out. Well, folks, that concludes our tour of Fort Loudon. Here where Ottakulla, the father of Nakatula, met his mother after the massacre that took place in 1760 at Cane Creek near Tellico, after the Cherokee had forced the British and the settlers out of this fort. So Fort Loudon played a great role in the history of Tennessee, and I hope you'll come and visit it sometime. It's a wonderful place to visit, and it is a part of the Nakatula legend. Well, this concludes another episode of Athens Treasures Live. Yes, we're in Monroe County at the Fort Loudon Fort here at the park. It's just about 20 minutes away from Athens. A wonderful treasure indeed for you and your family to come and enjoy. Picnic areas, walking trails, lake on both sides, a beautiful place and a historic place. I hope you'll come and enjoy this treasure, not too far from Athens. And until our next episode, get out there and find these wonderful treasures. Businesses, people, restaurants, and places.